Welcome everyone to the municipality of Strathroy-Caradoc. It is Monday, November 17th, 2025. The municipality of Strathroy-Caradoc acknowledges it is located on Treaty 21 territory. We are thankful to generations of people who have taken care of this land, including the Chippewa-the-Thames First Nation, the Munsee Delaware First Nation, and the Oneida Nation of the Thames. Roll call. Councillor Wilsey is absent with notice. Motion to approve the agenda. I have added one item, that is item 12.2 under communications, a verbal report on Tri-Township Arena to be added to the agenda. Someone to bring a motion to approve the agenda as submitted. Deputy Mayor, second by Councillor Dennis. All in favor? That motion carries. Excuse me. Are there any declarations of pecuniary interest? Councillor Palmer.
13.3.1 downtown parking arrangements, indirect pecuniary interests. Parties are members of the Chamber of Commerce, of which I'm employed.
Okay, thank you. Any others? All right, we'll now move into closed session. Council will move into closed session at 6:01 p.m. for the purpose of the following. 2 items in accordance with Council's procedure bylaw to approve regular in-camera meeting minutes of November 3rd, 2025, and the special in-camera meeting minutes of October 27th. 2 items pursuant to Section 239 of the Municipal Act as amended regarding litigation or potential litigation, including matters before administrative tribunals affecting the municipality, and Section 239(2)(f) of the Municipal Act as amended regarding advice that is subject to solicitor-client privilege, including communications necessary for that purpose. They include the ZBA appeal on 106 Front Street and the OLT appeal 8524 Falconbridge Drive. And 1 item pursuant to Section 239(2)(k) of the Act as amended regarding a position plan, procedure, criteria, or instruction to be applied to any negotiations carried on or to be carried on by or on behalf of the municipality, lease negotiations. Motion to go into closed. Councillor Pelkman, second by Councillor Hippel. All in favor? That motion carries.
leadership review in January.
All right, folks, we are back. Motion to count closed session adjourned at 6:40 PM and open session resumed. Deputy Mayor, second by Councilor Hippel. All in favor? That motion carries. Council met in closed session to consider matters it is permitted to do so under the Municipal Act. 2 items in accordance with council's procedure bylaw. The meeting minutes were approved. 2 items pursuant to section 239 2E of the Municipal Act regarding litigation or potential litigation, including matters before administrative tribunals. Council received legal advice. Direction was given to staff. 1 item pursuant to section 239 of the Municipal Act as amended regarding a position, plan, procedure, criteria, or instruction to be applied to any negotiations. Council received a staff report. Direction was given to staff. Motion of the direction given in closed session be approved. Councilor Kennis, second by Councilor Palmer. All in favor? Motion carries. Delegations, community presentations. This evening we have 2 long service awards. Our first is a 10-year award to Eric Crouch. Eric is a public works operator in engineering and public works department. Thank you, Eric, for your ongoing service. Next is 5 years, Jason Donor. Jason is also a public works operator in engineering and public works department. Thank you for your years of service, Jason. Okay, public meeting. The purpose of this meeting is to be considered municipality initiated official plan amendment application, update the official plan policies to reflect the provincial planning policy 2024, and well as respond to the housing accelerator fund commitments. Motion to open the public meeting. Councilor Brennan, second by the Deputy Mayor. All in favor? Motion carried. Is this you, Mr. Williams?
Thank you to the Mayor and members of Council. I'll be brief and just say that, as you have noted, this is a municipally initiated an official plan amendment, and it would affect the entire municipality, obviously in different ways in the rural versus urban settings. And the primary focus is to allow for additional residential units. The official plan as it stands today in its current form in force allows for a secondary dwelling unit, and this will allow for additional dwelling units. It doesn't get into the details of what or how those will be implemented. That would be something that would be found in the zoning bylaw, but it begins to open up the options for additional dwelling units. It also looks at other ways to allow for additional types of dwellings within the municipality. And I will leave it at that, but this is an information report, so it has policy background, and happy to answer any questions.
Before we get to the council questions, are there any comments and inquiries by the public? Seeing none, I'll now open it up for comments and questions from members of council. Councillor Pelkman.
Yes, thank you. I'm prepared to support this. However, I do it with the feeling that I've got a gun held to my head, particularly surrounding the 4 units as a right on any property. I just look at my own house, and I have a 4-level side split, and I could potentially turn that into 4 apartments. And I think of the havoc that would create with the movement of cars and stuff on my neighbors. And I only hope that it doesn't happen too much, that we're gonna have to stick to our guns when somebody comes to an application, and we have to make sure that they have enough parking, and it has to be in some ways a practical solution, so not 4 cars stacked on a long single driveway. But the reason why I'm prepared to support this is because I feel that if we don't, we are going to be segregated from any future funding from upper tier levels of government, and that would be a disservice to the rest of the municipality. So I just wanted to make that point.
Are there any other comments or questions? Councillor Derbyshire.
Thank you. Through you to, I'm gonna say the manager of planning. When we come to this here with changing our official plan of 2023, can we do that? Is their appeal still out on the OP14? And the other thing is, by tying like the Housing Accelerator Fund to this, which I understand we've somewhat agreed to in principle because we've moved forward with it, but there's still a whole lot of questions unanswered about it as we're going to deal with it a little farther down, I think. But in saying all this, obviously it's going to get forced upon us one way or another, by the sounds of it, by the province. At that point, should we be dealing with it as opposed to looking like we're trying to get ahead of something that I'm not too sure we're fully wrapped around what exactly we're getting into? So I guess my first question is the other one still under appeal, and can we actually change anything about our OPA 23?
You want to take that one on, Tim?
I'm happy to, and if Jake wants to add more, he can certainly do so. So, official plan amendment 14 is still under appeal by a single appellant. There is a motion date in the beginning of December, December 4th. We're working on the motion materials right now. Discussions are being had with the appellant. I can't get into those details because they're ongoing and we don't have anything concrete, but we're working to see if pieces of that official plan can move forward, and that official plan amendment can move forward and be in force and effect for the majority of the municipality. But that's what we're working on. Does that mean that no other official plan amendments can come forward? The answer is no. We can continue to bring forward official plan amendments that do other things with housing. It does become complicated, and I will say that we continue to add additional players into the field, and one of our jobs, Jake's and my job, is to line all of these pieces up as we come forward. So tonight is first chance to hear, well, we've heard it before, some concerns about additional dwelling units, and what we hear, if it fits into the category of official plan amendment, then when we bring this back forward, I would add something or make an adjustment. If it's something like what we just heard, which was making sure that they're not tandem parking spaces, that would be something that we would need to be showing in the zoning bylaw, and so we'll add it and put that in at the right time. So we're gonna have to line up a lot of pieces, and yes, there's the official plan amendment, and then there's the this official plan amendment tonight, as well as the one under appeal and a zoning bylaw amendment, and we're doing housekeeping amendments as well, and we continue to get other applications and other people that are interested in those secondary dwelling units and tertiary dwelling units, and so we have those applications that are either in or out, and when they come and when they want to start, all those sorts of things are happening all at the same time. So it does make my head spin, but we've got it under control, and we'll be laying out the pieces as we can, as simply as we can to you as we move forward, and Jake has the accelerator report on again tonight to talk about guidelines and guardrails, and part of this is and part of that discussion is this as well.
Follow-up, Councillor.
So I guess then all I would ask is, with what is going to come down for the province or the feds, who's ever going to send down the rules from above that we keep thinking is going to get forced onto us, are we basically taking what they're doing? Or are we gonna end up where we have a section, I'm just gonna make something where we're allowing 4 dwellings, but the provincial one, or we're allowing 3 dwellings, but the provincial one's gonna be 4, where what we do for say 6 or 8 months before the provincial one comes into effect actually isn't the same as the provincial one, and we end up where, like, are we following the provincial one that's coming down, I guess is my question, or have we modified and tweaked this to where when the province one comes in, ours wouldn't actually be valid? Like whether we're going to allow stuff to happen that they're not going to allow happen, and we end up kind of caught, or people end up caught in the transition of, oh yeah, we're putting in a 4-plex, but it's not actually allowed in the official plan. Do you know what I mean?
Mr. Williams.
So, thank you, and through the mayor. So there's, right now you have single detached dwellings, additional dwelling unit. This would open it further up to 4 it would be possible with that. And moving forward, this is the commitment that was made as part of the half funding, but it's also, you're 100% right, a trend throughout. And will it become a requirement in a planning act? That's a crystal ball that we don't have. So what we need to do is look at what we have in front of us today, which is 4 units. And we need to do it so that it's right for Strathroy-Caradoc. So what is permitted in, let's say, London, it will look different here. And we've even been learning from what's happening in London because they got the first round of funding, right? And so they've had a year's worth of time to see what it means to just allow it. And so there have been some bumps in the road, and we're gonna learn from them. We're gonna learn from them and others as well. And we will be looking at putting some wording in that would sort of address those sorts of things as well. And we're working on that right now.
Any other comments? Councillor Pelkman, then we'll bring the motion.
The one thing that I do like is the additional dwelling units out in the country being allowed when they're in with other clustered buildings. So that is something, as we've seen movement of families out of the rural areas, it is a way to make better use of infrastructure that's already there with the roads and all that, and really have very little impact on anybody's daily life. So that part I do like.
Any other comments from this side? Okay. Motion then to close the public meeting. Councillor Brennan, second by Councillor Canis. All in favor? Motion carries. Next is the report be received for information. Councillor Palmer, second by Councillor Canis. All in favor? Motion carries. Councillor Dervish, were you for or against that? Councillor, I didn't see your hand go.
Oh, I don't, whatever you want to do.
Okay, thank you.
It doesn't matter.
Next is the approval of minutes. There are 2 minutes in front of you to be approved. One is the regular council meeting minutes of November 3rd. Second is the special council meeting minutes of October 27th. Motion. Councillor Canis, second by Councillor Brennan. All in favor? Motion carries. Consent agenda, there are 3 items in front of you. Does anyone wish to remove any item for discussion? Deputy Mayor.
Before I do, I just have a question to the clerk. And I raised this at the last meeting, so it's going back to where there's a recommendation inside of the report. Both 10.2.1 and 10.2.2 have recommendations inside of the report, which is nothing more than to receive the report. So should those reports carry that recommendation if they're going into a consent agenda? Or is it proper for those just to be done inside a consent agenda? And so it's asking for a recommendation, which would generally be a motion and seconded. on that issue, right? And now it's inside of a consent agenda. How are we handling that for recording purposes?
You can just pull those two. What items were they?
10.21 and 10.22. So the two items under 10.2.
The motion's just receive, yeah.
So they both have recommendations
To receive
attached in the
information.
report, just to receive.
Yeah, that's fine, yeah.
Yeah, you're okay, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I'd like to pull it, if I could, 10.1.1. I'll just start myself. So the cold weather response, this time of year, and it's getting closer, I do get a lot of, I'm sure others do, questions as to about warming centers and cold weather response. And I did notice that, this is the county, the health unit made recommendations and the county was referenced. And there's always the feeling that it's municipalities, local municipalities' job to provide the warming centers. My question is, what is the county's role? Right? Does the county have a role to play in this? Because again, Middlesex London Health Unit, my question, what responsibility or role does the county play in helping us, other than providing the library? Do they have a role to play in helping the municipality set up a more permanent warming center? Director Littlemore.
Through the chair to the chair, if I understand what you're asking correctly, is there a responsibility of the lower tier municipality to provide a warming center? Am I correct in that assumption?
That's part of it, yes.
Okay. So there's no obligation that the municipality has to provide a warming center. The county provides warming centers and cooling centers out of all of their county library branches. So the Mount Bridges Library, when it's open, would be a warming center for that area. The Strathroy Library, when it's open, would be the warming center in this area during operational hours. So the warming centers are typically just open during the functional hours of those facilities. So we don't advertise, and I think I brought a report last year to council about this. We as a municipality don't advertise our recreation venues as warming centers, but if anyone who is needing a place to get warm, the facilities are open. They're more than welcome to attend the facilities. However, the facilities, when we go to close the facilities, no different than the library, we would be asking all people to exit the facility. And hopefully I answered your question.
Partially, and turn to Councilor Hill, but question, if we wanted to expand that, and I see it, whose responsibility is it to provide expanded service?
So through the chair to the chair, the upper tier is responsible for social services, so that would be a response of the upper tier.
Thank you. Councilor Hippel.
So through yourself, but one of the biggest issues that we have is, I mean, and it's great that all of these buildings and the recreation centers are open during the times that they're open for people to come in. But you know, the coldest time of the day is at night when everything is closed. So this is where I suppose we need to work together and ask the county how we can move forward, because at the end of the day, it is great comfort to those to be able to cool or warm off through the hours that are open for all of the library, the whatever, for everything. All I'm saying is probably the most important time of the day are the ones where everything is closed. So I think this is maybe, if we could work with them and find out how we can improve. We've been trying to do this for years, so.
Yeah, thank you. And then Deputy Mayor, then I got a question too.
Sorry. So a little bit from my county report, I'll bring it up now.
Oh.
So you're talking a lot about the county, and the county is already well involved in this. In fact, Joe Windsor was recently made a director of homelessness prevention. Whole bunch of things going on there, but he's responsible for the homelessness prevention program. And really, that's what you're talking about, is people that are struggling with accommodation. Because everybody else has a house to go to or have somewhere to go to get warm. So under that, he is looking at the accommodation program in Adelaide Metcalf at the hotel. He's looking at food insecurity programs. MLPS is on the road. They're working with Joe on the community paramedic program. So we have the paramedics out on the road. They're going to start interacting with these type of people as the temperatures turn colder. But we now have a new fund called the Whatever It Takes Fund. So whatever it takes, there's money behind a program, whatever it takes. So that's going to start catching this, I'm sure, as things come along. The other thing we have is when cold weather alerts come out, we always have the ability to do a emergency. So declare an emergency, that releases a whole bunch of stuff to us as far as provincial help through emergency management. We had this lovely training last year. And so that's when we could start looking for funding to open up an arena or to open up places that otherwise wouldn't be able to accommodate people. And all the insurance kicks in and all of the extra help kicks in, and our fire department's involved in that, both the chief and the deputy chief, and of course the police. So all of this starts to come together. So when you're thinking 3 feet of snow out on 402 and we need a warming center set up, you're thinking emergency management, and a whole bunch of things come together. And a whole bunch of people are trained in that.
Councillor Palmer.
Yeah, I would just ask the Director of Community Services to ensure that any staff that are working, particularly at closing time when they might have to clear people out of our public spaces, have the resources. So if someone doesn't have a place to go or appears that they, we might just be putting them out on the street on a cold night, that they have a list of numbers that they could call the county resources that are available to try to help place people, so that we are a bit of a solution as far as that goes, or can make that connection for those people that might be coming out of the cold to sit in the arena or some other municipal facility.
And I have a request. Strathroy is the largest urban area in the county, so this may not be as relevant to our neighbors, Adelaide Metcalf. So I do have a request through the CAO, knowing that social services are a county prerogative, that someone reach out to the county and come back with a report, talk to them about what they can do to help us set up overnight warming centers when there's a declared cold emergency. That's my request. I beat that one up there pretty good, sorry folks, but next 10.2.1, there are recommendations in those. Are they just to both be received? They're both to be received for information, so let's go 10.2.1, receive that for information. Councillor Canis, second by the Deputy Mayor. Are there any questions on that? All in favor of receiving 10.2.1? Housing Accelerator Fund, the guide rails and limits, that is to be received for information too. Deputy Mayor, second by Councillor Canis. Any questions? Councillor Derbyshire.
Thank you. So when you read through all this, it does sound like it's maybe not as bad a program as set out, but I guess what I'm trying to get to the point where we keep saying the province is going to make us do this, but these are all programs we have to enter into in order to be part of these grants. The province isn't making it mandatory anywhere. We're getting ourselves into this, which the TIG program is 25 years. It does say we can change that number, don't go below 10. Are we, I guess when we asked last time, or for a breakdown of what this is gonna look like for us as a municipality over the next 25 years when it comes to, here's the 3 point whatever savings you have or that you're given in this grant, what does this look like in 25 years as to where we are and what we've spent? I don't really get, I see we get numbers that say, you know, if the tax revenue was this, we're gonna give them a break of this, and this is how we're going to collect it through, and this is what works good for both people. But when we get down to the infrastructure side, the building, the more that we have to do, possibly the more services we have to supply for these housing units that are created. Like, and I know they're gonna say, well, taxes take care of them, but it doesn't. We already see that doesn't work now. So, you know, I look at this program and I think it's great that you wanna apply for a $3.8 million grant, but are we actually, is it worthwhile applying for the grant? Or should we be waiting until, I don't wanna say it's forced upon us, but I guess until it's forced upon us to deal with this. Like I think we think this is going to help move our economy forward and this and that, but until interest rates get better or something changes that way, a lot of these things aren't going to make developers jump into building houses. We're just setting ourselves up for possibly not meeting any of these standards, which then could be we're getting it clawed back or we don't qualify for any more of the funding. That's, you know, I don't know, there's nothing else I could say on it. I just, when I think about it, I would much rather us kind of do things a little more on our own and less thinking that a grant of 3.8 million is gonna be what gets this thing going. But that's just my opinion. I don't know.
Any other comments or questions? Deputy Mayor.
Thank you. Appreciating everything Councillor Derbyshire says, but I think in the report and in the second paragraph it says December 19th, so 11 months ago of 2024, we executed the Housing Accelerator Fund contribution agreement. So we're in it. We're not looking at doing it. We're here, we're in it. We've received the grant and we're obligated to do the initiatives. And there's the penalty for not fulfilling the initiatives, and I believe it's a 4-year program to have this put in place, is your installments of the 3.8 million, basically 9 million a year, or sorry, 900,000 a year, pardon me, is stopped. But we're in this already, I believe. Stand to be corrected.
Any other, yeah, Councilor Derbyshire, that'll bring it to a vote on receiving it.
I understand we're in it. We got in it with very little knowledge of kind of what we were getting into. We're now beginning to see what we've gotten ourselves into. And yes, it is a 4-year program on the payback, but the TIG program is 25 years. It's in here. We can change it. It said we could change it down to no shorter than 10 years. Otherwise, there's no incentive for the developer. So, like, I don't know what the rules we're playing by right now are. If we're still allowed to change stuff and move stuff, like, I realize we took an initial payment of 900,000. I think that's what the initial payment was. I didn't know if we were being asked, do we want to continue? What's going on? Like, I think what happened was it got presented to us. Everybody thought, oh yeah, $3.8 million is great. We're going to use it wherever we want to use it. And now we're realizing that there's a lot more to this than just we can use it. We're in, do what you want.
Yep. Councilor Pammer, then Councilor Kennis.
Yeah, just a comment. I feel like the 3.8 million in the big scheme of things isn't a huge motivator. I think what really motivated the application for this and what we should be looking at is the impact it's going to have on our community. And I don't know if we would have gotten this far down the line a year ago if we had just said, oh, let's come up with some ideas on how we're going to increase housing supply and a variety of housing supply in the community. So I think that what this has achieved is we've actually got something tangible we can share with the community. We've made some commitments on how we're going to move forward. And the bonus is that most of it will be funded, which is great. But for me, I think that, you know, it's the spirit of this, which is we are trying to do something. I agree with Councillor Derbyshire, there's a lot of external factors that we don't have control of, but we have to control what we can. And these things that are set out in this HAF agreement are things that the municipality can do to try to take a step forward.
Councillor Kennis, you had your hand up.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, I mean, it's a complex program, no doubt, but I think it's an opportunity that we need to take advantage of. And I think all progressive municipalities are involved in this program. And I think we need to, we've agreed to go down this route, and I think we should continue to follow the route.
Councillor Peltman.
Yes, thank you. When I was looking at the wording of initiative to make municipal lands available for housing, I don't feel like those bullet points reflect what we discussed. You know, there were comments made about that if the right proposal came along, we might not sell the property at fair market value, and may sell it for $1 if it's doing what it would do. I would almost prefer it to say that we'll make municipally owned lands available for housing, and council will review those proposals on a case-by-case basis.
Any other comments? This is just receiver. So we have a second motion to receive this for information. All in favor? Opposed, if any? Motion carries. I apologize. I don't think we received 10.11 for information, did we? Motion to receive 10.11 for information. Deputy Mayor, second by Councillor Canis. All in favor? Motion carries. Communications. Apologize, folks. I get to talk a lot. I did bring this one forward in front of council. Resolution to support Bill C-14, the Bail and Sentencing Reform Act to address internet outages caused by vandalism, mischief, and theft. This did come out of the second Rogers outage that we had. Director Lawn and I were fortunate enough to meet with, I think it was a vice president of government affairs, and it's quite forthcoming. In fact, he had pictures of his vandalism. It's ongoing issue, and in fact, if you were to Google search internet outages in Ontario, you'll find all kinds of news stories. There have been, I made a list of a few places where it's happened. Let me read here. It's been in Welland, Thorold, Port Colborne, Cambridge, and Ottawa. They were just the first 5 that popped up in the news stream, so it is a problem they're facing. So in asking the gentleman what we could do as a municipality to help out, he did say that supporting Bill C-14 would help them a lot. There is language that talks about tougher sentencing for physical vandalism and theft, targeting critical infrastructure is a problem. So rather than just, I didn't know if I could do it, just send off a letter by myself as mayor, I'd like to bring it in front of council for discussion if council would like to do something. So that is the resolution. Any comments? Yep, Councillor Derbyshire.
Thank you. It's a pretty big bill that we're throwing our support behind. It's not just a bill about vandalism. Like to me, I don't want to make that kind of statement. It's not that I'm for vandalism, but I mean, there's a lot when you read what this bill is, and it probably all is a fairly decent bill. But as a municipality, I don't think I want to engage in, I'm going to say, federal politics, to be honest with you.
Councillor Brennan.
I agree with Councillor Derbyshire. I have neither read or want to read the entire content of Bill C-14. So I'm not going to vote to support that, not knowing. I mean, I don't know if the bill is 3 inches thick, or I don't know what else is in there. There's probably a heck of a lot in there, more than this. So I would not be voting in favor of this because I'm against vandalism and theft, but I don't know if I'm in favor of everything in Bill C-14.
I don't think I've seen a federal bill that's less than 3 inches, Councillor, so if someone wants to bring,
some that are 1 page.
yeah, if someone wants to bring a motion, I'm fine with it. So the motion that was presented, the council sent a letter of support for this resolution to MP Leanne Root along with all Ontario municipalities. So someone wants to bring a motion or second it, it can die on the vine.
Well, I'll make the, I mean, you brought it to us, so I'll make the motion.
Make the motion, I'll second it. Any comments? And I do understand, Councilor Derbyshire, there's a lot in the bill, but is that one section was permanent, so. All in favor of the motion?
Wish we could.
Opposed, if any? Motion's defeated. The one I did add was a verbal update regarding Tri-Township Arena. The board of Tri-Township Arena was tasked with working with A-Link to bring back proposals to, I like to use the word modernization, but to solve issues with the arena, most notably, and anybody on the board can jump in, AODA compliance. They are at that point, and at the Tri-Township Arena meeting last week, a motion was made to bring it in front of council, to bring it, the staff would prepare a report. We would like to get this project going. There's some timeliness because of the budget process, not saying it will happen this budget process. But I think given the fact that Tri-Township Arena is owned, it's a municipal building, and that's the right place for it to be is now in this venue. So the motion is simply that staff be directed to engage with A-Link and bring back a report to council. That's the motion. Deputy Mayor, I will second it. Councilor Derbyshire, yep.
So it was kind of my understanding that it was going to come back to council to somewhat review what we'd kind of come up with.
Yep.
Like I realized sitting at the board and on the board and near the board, it took us a long time to get to where we were gonna go, but I don't wanna say I don't think this is the best solution. I think it is one of a solution, but I do believe that maybe there could also be a couple other solutions that should have maybe been looked at, and it's not an extra pad. It's actually the entrance itself as to where it's located and possibly how it would fit better with the heated area, plus adding the entrance without really messing around with cutting into the mezzanine level.
So I can answer that, Councilor, and I'm aware that I think the best is to have them bring the report as to what, we're not looking for adopting in the recommendations. If staff bring back the report and everybody can look at it, then we can have that discussion about, just to say, here's where they're at, these three. Go ahead, Councilor.
I understand, but what was given, what should be sent from the Tri-Township Board is already somewhat of a design from A-Link.
Right.
There's no costing, there's no anything.
Right.
I believe that's what we were going to see from the board. When we asked staff to go and do this, we're essentially telling staff, this is somewhat the way we're headed. Go figure out a costing from them. So I didn't bring it up at Tri-Township because we wanted to move it back to this board, or back to council. So yeah. And I didn't want to slow down the process because I do understand we want to start putting some dollar figure somewhere near where we should be doing. But I just think there is possibly a better way to go about this without hacking into the existing stuff. So.
Deputy Mayor.
So the process that you're being asked to entertain here is just, it went over to Tri-Township for their initial input because they're most familiar with the building, and of course Steve Dossett being down there, nobody knows the building better than Steve. What's going to come back is some conceptualized drawings, going to give you 3 different looks of the entrance, different ways for things to occur. It also incorporates making the entire building AODA compliant, which is mandatory under legislation now. And we've already, those drawings, by the way, are coming from Michael Holt with A-Link, and right now they're involved in doing, I think it's a Class D costing, the lowest grade costing anyways, just so you have a number in your head as to potentially what council may be looking at and what council wants to go with it. I know Councillor Derbyshire has some other ideas. We've discussed them. They're great ideas, and council can deal with those. But that's really what you're going to see. You're going to see 3 conceptualized drawings, and hopefully that raw number where a conversation can start from.
Councilor Pammer.
A couple of questions. One is there a cost for this, to get this report from A-Link?
It's been rolled in. Go ahead. Director Lilborn.
Through the chair to council, there's always a cost to, that would occur when we're asking for a professional service to come back with any information. I did hear that the deputy mayor indicate that they're conducting a Class D costing currently. I'm assuming that would be absorbed through Tri-Township Arena, but at the end of the day, if there's, the municipality picks up any budget shortfalls on that operation. So hopefully that answers your question, Councillor Palmer.
Is there somebody from the arena board who could tell us what the cost is and if they have the money to cover it?
Well, I think I can jump in. I think, careful, I think council had approved already that the municipality would pay for A-Link already. They've been paying for the design already, so it'd be a cost.
So it's already been approved,
Yeah.
okay. And then the second question I had was, since the primary impetus, what I'm hearing for the renovations is to make the facility AODA compliant, so would that then should open up some grant opportunities for us, I'm assuming, Director Lilborn?
Through the chair to Councillor Palmer, yes, there will be, I shouldn't say will be, there have been intakes on AODA grant applications.
Any, Councillor Hippel.
Thank you. Honestly, all I wanted to say on this topic was we need to get moving on this. And one of the biggest issues being AODA compliancy. It's coming down the pipe, and we need to get moving on this. And we have been sitting on it and rolling around on this, and not just like I don't mean the board that's sitting there now, but for many years, for probably 7 years, we've been discussing what to do, what not to do, what to do, what not to do. And I would just really like to see it come back to this council, so that at least we can start talking about it and putting it out there, and we can actually do something before things kind of collapse in a way that we're not prepared for. So.
Okay. One last one, Councillor Derbyshire, I'll bring it to a vote.
Thank you. I understand we want to get it here, but we want to get it here right. So when we talk about a warmed heating area, which a lot of this we're not getting yet without doing something else. The other thing is, it is not mandatory that people have access to the mezzanine. I'm just going to tell you what I'm thinking, is to add 80 feet on the end of the arena, close to the ballpark. You would then take the wall down, you would put your heated area would be all that. So your heated area would be on the end boards, where you could see the whole game, where people can wheel in. That whole new addition would be heated, air conditioned, and if need be, you really wanted to go up, you could still put a little lift beside it that took them up to the mezzanine. I'm
actually, Councillor, I'm agreeing with you. There's another your solution actually intrigues me. Just saying, let's bring the report to us to formally get the discussion in front of council, and then we can, once the costs come.
I guess what I look at is, if you take this to the costing, right, then we're already doing that. Whatever.
Okay.
That's fine.
Yeah. So we have a second motion that staff be directed to engage with A-Link and bring back the report to council. All in favor of the motion? Opposed, if any? Councillor Derbyshire?
Really, you already got the vote, doesn't matter.
I'd like to know how you vote, Councillor.
We already, sure.
Yep, thank you. Next is reports from departments, financial services versus section 357 application. Motion is that council approves section 357 application for 22691 Glen Oak, and further the council approve the 2025 tax reduction of $1,502.38. Bring the motion, Deputy Mayor. Second by Councillor Brennan. Director Dakin, any comments? Are there any questions for Director Dakin?
Other than this is standard housekeeping, if there's any questions for both this one and the next one, I'm happy to answer them.
Any Questions? Councillor Pelkman.
I do have a question then on the next one, if you're okay with that. So I'm totally okay with providing the tax refund. They're incurring some significant expense by having security guards at the gate. So I'm happy to help them out. But what happens, what's the mechanism if they rebuild, how that portion gets added back on?
Through the chair to Councillor Pelkman, that's right. So what will, the new guy, so what will happen is once the new building's built, they'll reassess it, and then that gets added to it. So it's just a reassessment.
Okay. Councillor Palmer.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to declare an indirect community interest. I just realized whose property this
That's
is.
fine, that's fine, go ahead.
It
Okay,
didn't
so-
say the property owner's name, but now I've put two and two
Okay, so
together.
we're gonna deal with the first one first, on, Glen Oak Road. So that motion was seconded. All in favor of the motion? Opposed of any, motion carries. Next is the same application for 401 York Street. Approve it, and then approve the tax refund of $2,122.52. Motion by Councillor Pelkman, second by Councillor Brennan. Any questions? Seeing none, all in favor of the motions? Opposed, if any? Motion's carried. Excuse me. Building and planning is the community improvement report, 72 Camp Crescent. The motion is that council denied the application for funding. Someone bring the motion. Councillor Brennan, second by Councillor Kennis. Who is going to speak to, is that you, Director Littlemore? Were there any questions or Jake is? Okay, Jake, you're up. Are there any comments or questions for Jake? Seeing none, you have a second and motion to deny the application. All in favor of the motion? Opposed, if any? Motion carries. Next is community improvement report for 35 Center Street, Strathroy. Motion is the council approve the application to the maximum amount of $16,841.22. Councillor Brandon, second by Councillor Kennis. Are there any questions of Mr. DeRitter? All in favor of the motions? Opposed, if any? Motion's carried. Community services, the downtown parking agreements for 4 properties on Front Street. Motion that council approve the individual agreements for the properties and that the bylaw be referred to the agenda bylaw section for approval. Councillor Hippel, second by Councillor Brennan. Director Littlemore, did you wish to speak to those?
Council has the reports in front of them, and if there are any questions, I'll be glad to answer them.
Are there any questions? Deputy Mayor McGuire.
Thank you. Very quickly, I'm assuming there's one property in the midst of the group of properties that currently are bound that is not interested in participating, and therefore, what occurs if they decide to limit access to their lands? Or we would just use the lane, Garden Lane.
So through the chair, are you talking about the boundary that we currently have the agreements or outside the agreements?
So we currently have an agreement. A lot of people will drive right behind Boston's Pharmacy and kind of cut behind the old Rumors building and continue down Garden Lane, or come in that way. So one of the property owners does not want to come back into the agreement, which is fine. Presumably, they may want to put some sort of a barricade up and say, you can't drive through my property anymore. So now all traffic would just have to return out to Garden Lane. Am I correct, or am I missing something
Nope,
here?
you were
I'm not
absolutely
missing
correct.
anything. Thank you.
Are there any comments or questions? Seeing none, you have seconded motions in front of you. All in favor of approving those motions? Opposed, if any? Motion carries. The seniors pilot project, motion is a council approve. You know what, I'm gonna have Director Littleborn speak to it first, then we'll leave the floor open for motions.
Through the chair, Paul Lattimore is in the audience, and he would be glad to speak to the report, as he is the author of the report. Yep, it's on.
There we go. I think everybody has the report in front of them. I think the comments that I would share is the recommendation is to choose option one, and not lost on us that that is the most expensive option, but we feel that a full-time staff dedicated to this gives it the best opportunity to succeed, so it may compensate for the location of the pilot project. Caradoc Community Center is the best option that we have, but not necessarily the most central location in Strathroy-Caradoc, especially when it comes to population. So if we can invest in a full-time staff, that will increase our ability to succeed and also our ability to leverage grants. As noted in here, the ministry contact has made note that previous grant applications were lacking commitment of funds, and this would be something that would give us that leverage to apply for those grants. Also, with the ability, with the two grants that I've mentioned, to hit a possible $40,000 worth of grants that would cover more than half of the proposed amount.
For questions, we'll Councillor Pelkman first, and Councillor Knuppel. Councillor Pelkman.
Yes, thank you. Time on the senior center board, we operated a lunch program which was a pretty massive drain on the finances of the senior center. My concern always with operating that is that we're in competition with restaurants that you know that are incurring their costs to be open and have a restaurant. When why do we feel the need to provide a lunch service? That's my question.
Mr. Lattimore.
Through the chair to Councillor Pelkman, that is one of the things that was mentioned and noted in our focus groups that those participants were looking for. Also, there is a limited amount of lunch programs, or at least eating options in Mount Bridges, especially for daytime opportunities. So,
Councillor Hippel.
Thank you. I actually don't have a question for you, but I wanted to say that I have spoken to, I don't work in the seniors area, so very different from Councillor Pelkman, but because of where he is, daily speaks to many seniors. But the ones that I talk to live in their own homes, or perhaps they live in places like Lumens. They love this type of thing, and they've been looking for this. And this is really exciting because a senior just isn't 80 years old, right? We have the age groups are, 60s and 70s, and they're active and they want to be able to do things. And the ones that perhaps, wouldn't be able to walk there because, like you said, it's not the most central location, but it's a large area. It has the kitchen. And I mean, as our municipality is growing, you know what, it's growing, but we have a lot of seniors that live in our municipality. And I think this is something, I love the pilot project. I think this is fantastic. I know it's expensive, but I really like the fact that Paul was talking about the grants. So it is what it is. It's a pilot project, and I think this is what we should be looking at, and we really should be focusing on, yes, we're always looking at what can we do for the kids and the younger families, but I think we really need to be doing things for our seniors. This is important. So I would definitely back your option number one, and I think it's very, very well done.
Councillor Derbyshire.
Thank you. I'm not opposed to a seniors thing by any means, but when we looked at the senior group that showed up, I do believe we had a very limited amount of people out of Ward 2. So putting this in Ward 2, and it's not for Ward 2, but will it have the support it needs to maintain a program, in a place that when we got 36 seniors out, we really didn't get a whole lot of our Ward 2 people that came out and did it. Now, that isn't to say that they won't come out, but I just, to put $72,000 into this, we might have somebody sitting there by themselves for a few of these days. Like, I guess with the program, do we have an idea of how to get the people there? Like, are we looking to roll out an advertisement, or like how? I guess that's more what I'd like to see, is a little bit more of what the program might consist of. I do realize it says this and this, but maybe see whether it's something we want to invest in.
I'm going to see if Mr. Lattimore wants to comment.
Yeah, through the chair to Councillor Derbyshire, it's something that we have planned. Marketing, we will work with our internal communications and options outside of that as well. There's no guarantees. I'd love to stand here and give you one, but I can't. I do think if we invest in quality, that's our best chance to succeed. That's option number one in this report. Does it mean that it will gain the participation that we need? Like I said, I go back to quality. People will travel for quality, and I think that's where we need to look, and I think that's the way that we've planned our programs, and we try to plan our infrastructure as well.
Sorry, Councillor Brennan and Councillor.
Through the chair to the manager, will these lunches be free, or will there be a charge for these lunches?
Through the chair to Councillor Brennan, there would be a charge.
Councillor Pelkman.
Yes, thank you. So I'm not opposed to the $72,500. I'm not opposed to us investing a thing. I guess my question is still coming back to that lunch. So the $72,500 provides for what kind of staffing? Because, if you're doing increased programming, you need a champion for those programmings. But if it's only for one staff member, that staff member is going to spend their time in the kitchen making food and prepping for a meal. Because you don't just open the door, walk into the kitchen and go, here's the soup. You got to make it, or you got to go shopping for it. Like, there was a lot of logistics behind us running the lunch counter at the senior center, and in the end we were paying a full-time and a half person to operate that. So I'm just curious how, if I get that's maybe what people asked for, but I'd have to say we need to take a close look at the age group of who showed up at those meetings, because I think when people are asking for seniors programming, there's an active senior and there's a sedentary senior. And the sedentary seniors are probably the one looking for the lunch. The active seniors are not. So who is it that we're actually going to try and provide programming for? And then are we budgeting for the appropriate staff levels to make that happen? Because at $72,500, I find it hard to believe that we're offering a lunch program 3 times a week and having champions to increase programming.
Al, got a comment on that?
Yeah, through the chair, Councillor Pelkman, you're right. We don't have the staffing complement here needed, but the plan is to build a volunteer program that will support the lunch programs. We do have some people that have reached out already that are interested in doing it, and this is where we've always tried to maximize our programs and leverage where we can, this is an opportunity where junior chefs and other programs we have can also contribute to this sort of program and make options, and that can connect some of that intergenerational programming that we've been talking about in the past. So yes, you're right, we need more staff than it shows as a one-person show. That's not going to cut it, but we do have some part-time staff already dedicated to being at that location. So those are hours that we can maneuver as well if needed. And then, again, working on a volunteer program.
Director, a little more now.
Through the chair, if I may, this is why it's a pilot project. Some things are going to be successful and some things may not be successful. We may find that the lunch program is hugely successful and we've got a plethora of volunteers who are running forward and wanting to help out, or we may find out that people aren't interested in it. It gives us an opportunity to cut that and then refocus some energies on programs that may be flourishing that that more people are wanting. So that's one of the reasons why it's a pilot project. We need to have the flexibility to move around and be prepared to cut the dead weight, for lack of a better term, to move somewhere else. So that is one of the reasons why it is a pilot project, and it is only for 12 months.
It said, Councillor Hippel, are you prepared to make a motion?
Yes,
Councillor?
that we would go with option one.
Thank you. You have a seconder, Councillor Pelkman. All in favor of the motion? Oh, sorry, I didn't see your hand pop up.
Well, it didn't, but I do have one question or one suggestion. So it's a pilot project, but how long is a pilot project operate for? So is this a 1 month, or sorry, a 1 year pilot project to be reevaluated at the end? Which is what I'm thinking.
Yeah. Mr. Lattimore.
Through the chair to Deputy Mayor, as part of this program, I think building the program will be part of the 1 year contract we look at for staff, probably looking at an 8-month pilot.
Okay, so with that, I would just say, I think it's really important when you start a pilot project that people know exactly the project and that it's likely to change. Otherwise, you have a group of citizens that say, well, hang on, you just gave this to me and you're taking it away. And I don't want that to occur.
Anything else? Councillor Derbyshire.
The $72,000, that's taxation, or are we finding it somewhere else? I know we talk about getting grants possibly in 27 and further, but where are we, I know we can put it in the new budget coming up, but where is it coming from? Where are we pulling it out of?
Director Dakin or Director Littlemore?
One man.
Through the chair to Councilor Derbyshire, so this would be part of the 26 budget, obviously. So I would say at this stage, it's taxation and offset by any grants that we would accumulate.
So the 2026 budget's still being worked on. Councillor Brennan.
Personally, I'm really glad that we have something like this because it's a pilot and it provides the community with an opportunity to get behind something. We talk a lot about trying to provide services outside of Ward 1. This is a great opportunity for people throughout the municipality, service clubs, volunteer groups, private individuals, to rally behind something that really might become a really successful program that might last for decades, that's of great service to seniors in that community. You might have farmers contribute food. You might have service groups come in and decide to work a soup kitchen. You might have classes come in and do a sandwich day. And there's all kinds of good things that can happen here. And council is leading here with some seed money. And I think this is a challenge to the community to have something good happen. And I think it's a great use of this money. It may be in future years that there are grants. Maybe there might be a lower tax hit. But it could be that you know, with the work of volunteers and service groups and fundraising, that this could become enormously successful. And who knows if the 72.5 bill is something we're going to be paying every year. Maybe we get some funding. But, you know, if councils take a chance, if councils take a risk, good things can happen. And you know, it'll be evaluated. And we'll reevaluate it in a year, and we'll see what good things have happened, and maybe we'll continue. So I think let's allow ourselves to be optimistic that the community is going to get behind this, and it's a great use of the facility.
I think that's a good note to leave it on. So we have a seconded motion to approve option 1. All in favor of that motion? Motion carries. Museum, thanks, Paul, and thank you for your work. Museum updates. Who's going to give the update? Oh.
Hello. Before you is the museum update report. We have 2 items within this report, the policy package and a deaccession report. And I'm here to answer any questions.
Are there any questions on the museum report? Councilor Brennan.
The deaccession items. Can people bid on those and buy them? I mean, I hope that it's not going to go in a dumpster, but they're being deassessed, so they're going to go somewhere. I'm just wondering what happens to them.
Yes, there is a rigorous process with that. The first step is coming here to get the formal approval that they are going to be deaccessioned. The second step is to offer them to other museums, and then after that it is auction. Unfortunately, no one attached to the museum can go and get those bids. You cannot be associated with the municipality or the museum. So.
Councilor Pelton.
Yes, thank you. I remember dealing with this many years ago before we had a deaccession policy, and it is nice to see the criteria being used. And you know, I looked fairly diligently through the items to make sure that there wasn't anything that could be connected to the municipality, and there's nothing in here that says this is Strathroy-Caradoc history. So I know it's a very sticky thing to do. It's difficult for the staff, but I think they did a good job here, and there's nothing in here that I can see as being problematic for us to say we're getting rid of a piece of Strathroy-Caradoc history.
Any other questions, comments? So the motion is the council approves the Museum Advisory Committee's recommendations for approval of the collection subcommittee report, the accessioning, and the museum policy manual. Someone to bring the motion. Councillor Pelkman, second by Councillor Kennis. Any further comments? See none, all in favor. Motion carries. Thank you. Fire Services, the Emergency Management Emergency Response Plan. There are 2 motions. The council approve the updated response plan, and further the bylaw be referred to the consideration of bylaws section of the agenda for first, second, third, and final reading. Someone to bring a motion? Councillor Pammer, Councillor Kippel. Who's going to bring the update? Stephen,
I'm going to start.
Okay, go for it.
Yeah, thank you. Through the chair to council. The report before council outlines a thorough review and amendment to ensure the municipal emergency response plan and bylaw meets all the provincial legislative requirements under the Act. The revised plan ensures that the municipality is well prepared to respond in the event of a major incident. Should you have any specific questions regarding the plan and or the bylaw, Deputy Chief Cyrus is on hand and should be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Okay, any questions for the Deputy Chief? Councillor Derbyshire.
Sorry, just one. I just saw in red the municipality of Strathroy-Caradoc. Is that the only changes that we made to this thing, or was this not redlined? I just didn't know whether, when I read it, I was like, oh, there's a red line, and then I kept going, I'm like, there's no more red lines. So I didn't know how much we changed and updated, or if anything at all.
Deputy Chief.
Yeah, through the chair to council, there is no red line because it is a brand new plan from the old one, which has been around for several years without the updates to bring it to that modernization and the ability to respond as needed with best practices throughout the municipalities.
Any other comments or questions? Seeing none, you have a second motion in front of you. All in favor of the motions? Opposed, if any? Motion's carried. Deputy Mayor, your county council report. I think I jumped in together.
A couple things. So, last meeting, Councillor Wilsey asked me to find out about signage on county roads at the entrance and exit points of municipalities. So I spoke with Chris Traney about it, and I did get back to Council Wilsey directly, but this is a continuous program where they're replacing or adding signs where they're either damaged or have never been. They are currently looking at revamping all of the signs, and different types and concepts, I think, are coming to County Council at some point. So that's what's going on with the signage. We did our 2024 year-end audit. There was a surplus of $75,328.66, which we put over to the taxation rate stabilization reserve. So that's a really great reserve to have, because when you want to keep your taxation down, we actually have money sitting aside to do that. We did hear from Crispin Collin with the Ontario Federation of Agriculture. He had a great PowerPoint that he presented to us. Again, Joe Windsor with homelessness, I can tell you that Joe has really jumped into his new job. He's developed a new logo, a new website that's much easier to navigate, and is doing kind of a one point of contact, being with the community navigators. So the idea of, somebody's at the library and it's 5 o'clock and it's time to leave, and how do we do things? Well, it's already being addressed by Joe. He's out in front of us so far on this. He's doing a great job. What else is going on? I guess the only other thing I'll mention is next week we will elect the new warden for the next coming year. Wardens are elected 1 year at a time. Currently Brian Ropp. There was 3 nominated people: the mayor from Southwest Middlesex, Helen Mayhew, the mayor from Adelaide Metcalfe, Sue Clark, and your deputy mayor. So we'll find out next week how things go.
Thank you. And since you're on a roll, do you want to start with your announcements and inquiries, Deputy?
I think I probably just made them all.
Okay. Councillor Cameron.
This Saturday is the Rico Food Santa Claus is that Rico Food Lions Club Santa Claus Parade? Did I get that right? Did I get everybody in there? On Saturday downtown. So great family event put on by the community, and look forward to seeing everybody out there, and hopefully we have a little sprinkle of snow. Not a dumping, just a sprinkle.
Councillor Derbyshire.
Thank you. I just wanted to invite everyone out to the Melbourne Agricultural Building on, I believe it's Thursday, November 20th, I think that is, for their turkey bingo, which supports the local groups are putting it on. So I will also be calling it, so if you want to hear more of me, call out B3 and A4 and all that stuff, or whatever letters, and possibly get yelled at by bingo players, come on out Thursday.
Councillor Pelkman.
I would just like to give a shout out to the scouts who were helping out at the transfer stations. The lineup was pretty long when I was there, but they kept things running quickly, and it's not always in the best of conditions that they're doing that. So just a big thank you to them.
Councillor Brennan.
About 1 year to go, it'll be a new council in Strathroy-Caradoc. So I'm just saying to people out there, if you're ever thinking about getting into community politics or running for council, if you know somebody who you think would be good at it, now's the time to start talking about it and thinking about running. I think you should talk to other councillors who are already elected if you're interested. But I'm looking out at people in the community who are active in their community, sit on boards or executives, and think, oh, gee whiz, I could never run for council. Well, if you've been sitting on a board or an executive of an organization that's community spirited here in town, you probably have the executive toolkit required. So now is the time for people to start talking about it and to encourage people who they think have the talents, and don't leave it to the last minute. So, I think that's just something to start thinking about. And there's gonna be some vacancies on council, so now's the time to start thinking about it. Thank you.
Councillor Kennis.
My voice is strong enough. This Saturday night is the Farewell to Rumors event that the Wright Foundation will be holding at the building at 13 Front Street as a sort of last blast for the old, what looks like the Rumors interior from days gone by. I think there's 4 local bands going to be playing there from 7 to 11. There's tickets still available from what I understand at the Right Place website, so if you want to see Rumors as it used to be one last time, this Saturday night.
Maybe we can start some.
Councillor Hippel.
Thank you. A couple of things. I wanted to say thank you to everyone in the Mount Bridges Business Organization that put on Christmas in a Village this past weekend. It was Friday, Saturday, Sunday. It was very well attended. It snowed a little, it rained a little, but it did not dampen anyone's spirits whatsoever. But I also wanted to say, I mean, it's the middle of November. Perhaps I'm getting ahead of myself a little bit. I'm not, truly, because this time of year is pretty tough for a lot of people. We're starting to get into the Christmas spirit, but there's a lot of people that aren't in the Christmas spirit for many reasons. So all I'd ask is that perhaps everyone just be a little bit more aware, a little bit more sensitive, and a little bit more understanding to those around you that perhaps it's not always as, not everybody is as upbeat in the same situation as you are. So reach out, be kind, and just really truly understand those around you are not always feeling what you assume that they should be feeling. And I'm gonna leave it at that.
Thank you. Nothing from me. Now move to consideration of bylaws. Motion that bylaw number 125-25, bylaw number 126-25, bylaw number 127-25, number 128-25, number 129-25, and 130-25 receive first, second, third, and final reading. Councillor Kennis, second by the Deputy Mayor. All in favor? That motion carries. Next meeting is on Monday, December 1st, and Deputy Mayor.
I thought we missed that.
No, I wrote a note.
Thank you. Thank you, Your Worship. I'd like to motion that on evenings where council is occurring, that we begin at 5 p.m. for the purposes of dealing with closed session matters. If there is no closed session matter, then it would return to a 6 o'clock start for the public session. If closed session goes later, it goes later, but we'll try to get it done within the hour. So for closed session matters, we will start at 5 p.m.
Do you have a seconder for your motion? Councillor Derbyshire. Any questions? Councillor Pelkman.
Just, should it read though that the open session will start at 6 o'clock?
Yes. Yeah. All in favor of that motion? That motion carries.
I'm excited about that.
That bit of entertainment from the Deputy Mayor. A motion that we adjourn at 8 p.m. Councillor Pelkman, Councillor Candace, all in favor? Motion carries.
Budget passed, 170 to 168.
Oh, 170?